Happy Groundhog Day is a study on birds of the Bible. I hope I got them all on here. I compiled them on my website, wheresciencemeetsreligion.blogspot.com. And then there's a link called All Lives Matter, and when you open that up, it'll link to Animal Lives Matter, Mom's Lives Matter, Dad's Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, Green Lives Matter. Anyway, under Animal Lives Matter, you get to a master link to birds. In the Quran, Suleiman, which is known as Solomon, Solomon and David are said to have been taught the language of birds. It's a mystical, divine language. The Conference of Birds is a mystical poem by a Persian poet. According to Wikipedia, this mystical language used by birds is used to communicate with the initiative. But out of the Bible stuff, I'm using the word fowl, F-O-W-L, to mean bird in this paragraph. Ezekiel 38:20, the fishes of the sea, fowls of the heaven, beasts of the field, and the creeping things that creep upon the earth, and all the men that are upon the face of the earth shall shake at my presence, and the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall. I'm not sure if birds are going to shake, but fowls are going to shake, okay? Deuteronomy 14, you can eat all the clean birds, but this is what you cannot eat. You shall not eat any griffons, vultures, bearded vultures, black vultures, kites, falcons, crows, eagle, owl, kestrel, long-eared owl, all species of hawks, little owl, screech owl, barn owl, horned owl, osprey, cormorant, stork, any hoopoe, and the bat. All winged insects are unclean for you to eat. Anything with wings, unclean. Okay. ECC, Ecclesiastes 10:20 says the birds are snitches. It says, curse not the king, no, not even in thy thought, and curse not the rich in the bedchambers, for the bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which has wings shall tell the matter. Leviticus 11 says the eagle is an abomination. Okay, these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle. Okay, we just read that. Offspray. This King James says, the vulture, the kite, the raven, the owls, the swans, pelicans, gears, eagles, storks. Isaiah 46 says, I summon from the east, I summon a bird of prey from a far off land, a man to fulfill my purpose. What I have said, that I will bring about. What I have planned, that I will do. Listen to me, you stubborn-hearted, who are far from my righteousness. I am bringing my righteousness near. It's not far away, and my salvation will not be delayed. I will grant salvation to Zion, my splendor to Israel. Ezekiel 17 talks about a great eagle with great wings, long wings, full feathers, with rainbow colors or diverse colors, which comes to Lebanon and takes the highest branch of the cedar. Psalms 84:3, the sparrow found herself a house, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she may lay her young, and even thine altars, O Lord of hosts, my King, my God. Isaiah 16, send ye the lamb to the ruler of the land, from Selah to the wilderness, and to the mountains of the daughter of Zion, for it shall be that as a wandering bird cast out of the nest, so the daughters of Moab shall be at the fords of Arnon. I mean, I was definitely thrown out at 18, and again, and again, and again. Okay, that's Zephaniah 2. The flock shall lie down in the midst of her, and all the beasts of nations, both the cormorant and the bittern, shall lodge in the upper lintels. Their voice shall sing in the windows, and desolation shall be in the thresholds. For he uncovereth the cedar work. Coffins. Matthew 21:12, he overthrew the seats of them that were selling the doves. Ezekiel 31, again, the fowls of heaven made their nests in boughs and under his branches, and did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young under his shadow, and dwelt all great nations. Proverbs 27:8, as the bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. Isaiah 46:11, ravenous birds from the east. Genesis 1:2, God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life, and fowl, that they may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. So, moving waters are bringing forth moving creatures that have life. Okay, Psalms 102:6, I am like a pelican of the wilderness. I am like an owl of the desert. Luke 12:24 uses the word raven. The word stork is in there 5 times. Jeremiah 8:7, the stork in heaven knoweth her appointed times, and the turtle and the crane and the swallow observe the time of their coming, but my people knoweth not the judgment of the Lord. Psalms 104, where the birds make their nests, as for the stork, the fir trees are her house. Fir, F-I-R. Zechariah 5. It's also about a stork, but it's about a woman with wings or something. It's Zechariah 5, the 6th vision, the basket of wickedness. The angel who spoke with me came forward and said, raise your eyes and look. What is this that comes forth? And I said, what is it? He said, this is a basket that's coming. He said, this is their guilt in all the land. Then a leaden cover was lifted, and there was a woman sitting inside the basket, and he said, this is wickedness, and he thrust her inside the basket, pushing the leaden weight into the opening. And I raised my eyes, and I saw 2 women coming forth with wind under their wings. They had wings like the wings of a stork. And they lifted up the basket into the air. And I said to the angel who spoke to me, where are they taking the basket? And he replied, to build a temple in the land of Shinar. And when the temple is constructed, they're going to set it there on its own base. Hosea 8:1, set the trumpet to the mouth. He shall come as an eagle against the house of the Lord, because they transgressed my covenant, trespassed my law. Luke 2, this is probably about Mary. She brought forth her firstborn son, wrapped him in swaddling clothing, as it is written in the law of the Lord. Every male that openeth the womb shall be called holy to the Lord, and to offer a sacrifice to that which is said in the law of the Lord, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. Court for owls is in there, Isaiah 34:13. Isaiah 13:21, though says, the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there. Lie, spread fake news. And their house is full of doleful creatures. I looked up doleful. It says, causing grief or misfortune. Owls shall dwell there. Satire shall dance there. It's Isaiah 13. Ecclesiastes 12:4, the doors shall be shut in the streets. When the sound of the grinding is low, he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. 2 Samuel 21:10, Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, took sackcloth and spread it for her upon the rock from the beginning of the harvest until the water dropped upon them out of heaven, and suffered neither the birds of the air to rest on them by day, nor the beasts of the field by night. Ecclesiastes 9:12, for man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in a snare, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time when it falleth suddenly upon them. Song of Solomon 2:12, the flowers appear on earth, the time of the singing of birds is come, and the voice of the turtle is heard in our land. Isaiah 31:5, as birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over it, he will preserve it. Jeremiah 4 sounds like an interesting story. Jeremiah 4:25, behold, there was no man, and all the birds of the heavens were fled. I'm not reading the whole thing, just talking about birds. Jeremiah 12:9, my heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble, all the beasts of the field, come to devour. Ezekiel 39:4, thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, thou and all thy bands, and the people that's with thee. I will give thee unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured. Matthew 8:20 and also Luke 9:58 say the same thing. Jesus was speaking, said, the foxes have holes and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Matthew 13:32 talking about that mustard seed tree, which is the least of all seeds, but when it's grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. Quran 27:16, Solomon was David's heir, and he said, O mankind, lo, we have been taught the language of the birds, and have been given abundance of all things. Surely this is evident favor. Another version says, great privilege, evident bounty, evident grace. Genesis 40 is a story back in Pharaoh's time about these flesh-eating birds. I think I have the whole story here. It's about a dream interpreted. Sometime afterwards, the royal cupbearer and the baker offended their lord, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was angry with his 2 officials, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker, and he put them in the custody of the house of the chief steward, the same jail where Joseph was confined, and the chief steward assigned Joseph to them, and he became their attendant. After they had been in their custody for some time, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were confined in the jail, both had dreams on the same night, each in his own dream, each dream with his own meaning. When Joseph came to them in the morning, he saw that they looked disturbed, so he asked Pharaoh's officials who were with him in custody in the master's house, why do you look so troubled today? And they answered him, we have had dreams, and there's no one to interpret them. And Joseph said, do interpretations not come from God? Please tell me the dreams. Then the chief cupbearer told Joseph his dream. In my dream, I saw a vine in front of me, and on the vine were 3 branches, and it had barely budded when its blossoms came out and its clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, so I took the grapes and pressed them out into his cup and put it in Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said to him, this is the interpretation. The 3 branches are 3 days, and within 3 days Pharaoh will single you out and restore you to your post. You will be handing Pharaoh his cup as you formerly did when you were his cupbearer. Only think of me when all is well with you, and please do me the great favor of mentioning me to Pharaoh to get me out of this place. The truth is, I was kidnapped from the land of the Hebrews, and I have not done anything here that they should have put me in this dungeon. When the chief baker saw that Joseph had given him a favorable interpretation, he said to him, I too had a dream. In it, I had 3 bread baskets on my head. in the top one were all kinds of bakery products for Pharaoh, but the birds were eating them out of the basket on my head. And Joseph said to him in reply, this is the interpretation. The 3 baskets are 3 days, and within 3 days Pharaoh will single you out and will impale you on a stake, and the birds will be eating your flesh. And so on the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, he gave a banquet to all his servants and singled out the chief cupbearer and the chief baker in the midst of his servants. And he restored the chief cupbearer to his office so that he handed the cup to Pharaoh. But the chief baker he impaled, just as Joseph had told them in his interpretation. Yet the chief cupbearer did not think of Joseph, and he forgot about him. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and thou shalt hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat the flesh from off of thee. And the last quote I have on birds, I'm thinking it's also Genesis, but I don't have it on here. It says, this then said to him, I am the Lord who brought you from you are, of the Chaldeans, to give you this land as a possession. Lord God, he asked, how will I know that I will possess it? He answered him, bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. He brought him all these, split them in 2, and placed each half opposite the other, but the birds he did not cut up. The birds of prey swooped down on the carcasses, but Abram scared them away. And as the sun was about to set, a deep sleep fell on Abram, and a great dark dread descended upon him. And just a message from the Book of Mormon. It says, Alma 22, they came there up into the south wilderness. Thus the land on the northward was called Desolation, and the land on the southward was called Bountiful. It being the wilderness, which is filled with all manner of wild animals of every kind, a part of which had come from the land northward for food.